on January 19th was identified as 21-year-old Caitlin Reyna.
The man accused in the double shooting is now at the Victoria County Jail.
And the search is still ongoing for a missing boater, Hunter Hadley, in Port O'Connor.
I've had enough of this rain. I think some of you have as well, but we're still looking at it a little bit, but then we're going to dry off. We're going to talk all about that and more. But first, that's right, here's Gino.
Howie, I'm right there with you, but it is National Signing Day, so it is bright for some young people out there. Multiple Crossroads athletes are continuing their football careers. We hear from them in sports.
And you're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
This is an alert day, and let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Howie Gordon. Howie, we're still getting precip around here and it's still cold. Could we have a chance at all around here for anything freezing on the roadways?
I mean, I'd be careful because it's a fine line. It's going to get close, and you never know. There's anomalies. I say one thing. Sometimes the weather says, no, I'm going to do it this way. So I would just be careful on the roadways. I'm not expecting ice like we had this morning. Temperatures stay a little bit warmer. The moisture tends to sometimes prevent temperatures from falling as quickly. So I think we're going to stay in the mid-30s, even though in the upper atmosphere we can have some colder rain or colder temperatures, thus colder rain, and that can maybe freeze on the surface. I would just be extra careful. Even rain, though, can allow for slickness on the roadway, so you want to be careful. Things will start to move off later in the day tomorrow, but here's our temperatures now this evening. Yeah, we're in the 30s on the coast, 40s, get away from the water, low to mid-30s, and our wind speeds not as bad as yesterday. We were gusting away to 25 and 30 miles per hour. That really affected our wind chills. Our wind chills still feeling, though, in the mid to upper 20s. This evening in the 30s, overnight dropping down to 36 degrees. Again, looking at more showers. Now, we will eventually dry off and warm up. We're going to talk about that later on. Don, Karina.
Howie, thank you. Law enforcement discontinues an Amber Alert from Silsbee, 21 miles north of Beaumont. The alert was activated today for 4-month-old Aiden Langford and 1-year-old Aaliyah Langford. They were missing for 8 days. KFDM reports authorities say they were found safe in Franklin County, Arkansas. Authorities identified Tiffany Weaver, 31 years old, and 29-year-old Aaron Langford as the two people suspected of taking the children. The father was arrested for a Texas parole violation and the mother was released at the scene.
We have an update on a fatal crash that we first reported on January 19 when two vehicles crashed on Southwest Moody Street in Business. And records obtained by Crossroads today, they confirmed the driver of the Toyota Corolla, 21-year-old Caitlin Reyna, passed away, and the Texas Peace Officer's crash report indicates that prior to the crash, Reyna was driving above the speed limit.
2 suspects have been arrested and charged in an active homicide case in Bay City. 1 suspect remains at large.
25 News Now reporter Adam Seibel spoke with the victims and has more.
That's right, Karina and Don. So I spoke with Jared Alpin's father, Robert Alpin, on the active investigation into his son's death after Jared was found deceased inside a car in Bay City on January 24th. Officials arrested and charged 2 suspects and continue to search for 1 more. On January 25th, officers arrested and charged a 16-year-old juvenile for murder, aggravated robbery, assault on a peace officer, and tampering and fabricating physical evidence. They then transported the suspect to a juvenile detention center. Then on Thursday, January 26th, 17-year-old Clarence Kimball Small of Bay City turned himself in for the charges of murder and aggravated robbery. Officers arrested Small in the Baytown area and later transported and booked him into Matagorda County Jail. An additional suspect remains at large. Yeshua Ventrell Lee Caesar, age 23, is wanted for his suspected participation in the homicide. Jared's father, Robert Alpin, says his son was a good man and father who never met a stranger, and he wants those involved in his murder punished to the full extent.
Everyone involved, death penalty. That's what that to me, that's what they deserve.
Including the juvenile?
Yes. I'm sorry, but when a kid becomes a teenager, they know what's right and wrong. They learn at a young age. If you're going to do an adult crime, take the adult punishment. Let's get justice for my son Jared. That way his family can, move on.
The wanted suspect, Caesar, is approximately 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighs approximately 125 pounds. He's considered armed and dangerous and could be in the Bay City or El Campo area. The Bay City Police Department, along with multiple LE agencies, are assisting the Bay City ISD Police Department with the investigation. The case is still active, and if you have information about this case, law enforcement encourages you to contact Bay City Police Department 979-245-8500. Robert says his son's passing has Jared's mom, his siblings, and his aunts and uncles torn up over it, and Robert said he can start to do his grieving once the trial is over. The family also has a GoFundMe set up to assist with funeral expenses, which you can find over at our website, crossroadstoday.com. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. A 26-year-old man accused in a double shooting last Friday, now in the Victoria County Jail. Jorge Lozano was hurt in an officer-involved shooting that developed after the double shooting in a parking lot in the 2400 block of North Ben Wilson Street. Lozano is charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and a 3rd charge connected to the officer-involved shooting. He's held without bond. At last report, one of the shooting victims was still in the hospital in stable condition. The other victim was treated and released.
The icy road conditions continue to be deadly across Texas. An 18-year-old student from the Ropes ISD was killed Tuesday morning in a crash near Wolfforth, about 12 miles southwest of Lubbock. Emergency crews responded to the rollover accident around 9:30 a.m. DPS says an 18-year-old driver lost control of the vehicle after hitting a slick patch on an overpass, causing the vehicle to roll. The driver was taken to the hospital in Lubbock for treatment. The passenger died at the scene.
The search continues for a man missing after a boating crash near Port O'Connor. The man is identified as Hunter Hadley. Texas Parks and Wildlife resumed the search on water, with technology being used to discover Hadley's whereabouts. The Calhoun County Sheriff's Office said the call came in around 11:30 p.m. Friday after Hadley's boat hit a large barge. One man was taken to the hospital, but Hadley is still missing. Leaders, community members, and the family of Tyree Nichols, the 29-year-old brutally assaulted by 5 Memphis police officers, gathered at his funeral today. Nichols' funeral service was held 5 days after the city of Memphis released videos showing the brutal January 7th police assault. Vice President Kamala Harris was in attendance, as well as Reverend Al Sharpton, where he reaffirmed his commitment to social justice and reform.
There is no accountability. They feel that we are going to get angry a day or two and then we're going on to something else. But some of us do this every day. Some of us believe in the dream has to come true. Some of us are going to fight until we make this legislation happen. I don't know when, I don't know how, but we won't stop until we hold you accountable.
Since the release, the Memphis Police Department's Scorpion Unit, whose members included the 5 fired officers charged with second-degree murder, was permanently deactivated. 2 additional Memphis police officers were also relieved of duty. And so here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code right there on your screen to participate. Did you choose not to watch the video in Tyree Nichols' case? Yes or no? We take a look at those results, and 58% say yes and 42% say no. Thank you for participating. Remember, come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate in all our daily viewer polls.
A rise in COVID-19 new cases in Victoria County from December to January. The Victoria County Public Health Department reports in January 364 new COVID-19 cases, an increase of 28 cases in a month's time. That's an average of 11.7 new cases per day in January. Compare those numbers to 1 year ago in January 2022. Victoria County had a 1-month record number of 2,518 new COVID-19 cases.
Right now, every household in the U.S. can get 4 free at-home COVID-19 tests. Go to covidtest.gov or call the number on your screen. The best advice is if you're feeling sick, you should just stay at home. The Salvation Army of Victoria plans to open its main office at 1302 North Lewis Street as a cold weather shelter. The Salvation Army of Victoria opens its cold weather shelter when the temperature drops below 40 degrees.
The Victoria Area Homeless Coalition will distribute warming supplies to those in need tonight at various locations. You can reach Mid-Coast Family Services at 361-575-7842. The center needs sleeping bags and socks. If you have some to donate, at 2010 North Navarro, Suite A. The warming center is at C3 Victoria, 1604 East Crestwood Drive. It is open until 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in this week's Port Lavaca Wave. A Calhoun County ISD student was removed from a school after making a verbal threat to another student Friday morning. Law enforcement officers made 26 arrests in January, and assisted living residents with Bethany Senior Living takes home first, second, and third in an art competition. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. A Romanian court rejects the Tate brothers' appeal.
Also ahead, cell phone evidence may question the timeline on Alex Murdaugh's whereabouts as his murder trial continues.
Do you have questions about changes in the tax code? Ask Alexander and Mark, Victoria's full-time tax professionals. Fast, friendly service for all your tax needs. Alexander and Mark, CPAs, 3205 East Mockingbird, your year-round tax professionals.
Stephen A. Smith compared Rihanna to Beyonce. I was even saying with my eyes, Stephen, don't go there. Thursday, Simone Sanders Townsend.
What are you gonna put me on?
The Deadbeat.
Oh my God, you're putting me on obituaries? Don't you come any closer, I will kill you.
I'm already dead. Fun fact, you're the only one that can see me.
No!
Yep.
No!
Grab the best taco deal in town. Right now at DQ, get 3 Texas T-brand tacos for just $5. We're talking zesty taco meat, lots of fresh toppings, and a crunch you can't resist. At 3 for just $5. That's a lotta for your buck. And nobody but DQ lets you top it off with your favorite treat. 3 tacos for $5, only for a limited time at DQ.
That's what I like about Texas.
He's saving models from being kidnapped. How are they finding you?
A text just appears.
And on their way to meet you, they get kidnapped.
Right.
Every time.
This is Ava. She was in a gang camp, and then I helped get her out.
You actually invited Ava to the show.
Yeah. She texted me that she was getting gas, and a guy took her.
The woman in the photos, she is here today. Let's bring her out. New Dr. Phil.
It's tax time, and for years, Victoria has trusted Alexander and Mark. Get your refund fast, do electronic filing, or file an extension. Alexander and Mark can do it all. Alexander and Mark, CPAs at 3205 East Mockingbird.
A Romanian official says Andrew Tate lost his appeal at a Bucharest court and will be held for a further 30 days. Controversial influencer Tate was detained in Romania on suspicion of organized crime and human trafficking. A spokesperson for Romania's anti-organized crime agency said Tate lost his appeal against a judge's decision to extend his arrest a second time for 30 days. Tate arrived at a court of appeal on Wednesday handcuffed to his brother, Tristan.
Prosecutors say this video places Alex Murdaugh at the scene when his wife and son were murdered. It's from his son Paul Murdaugh's cell phone and takes place in the family kennels. Witnesses say the voices off screen belong to Alex, Maggie, and Paul Murdaugh. If that's true, it could undercut Alex Murdaugh's alibi. The video is from 8:44 p.m. and Murdaugh has maintained he was with his mother at that time. Prosecutors presented the video at a trial Wednesday. Murdaugh claims he came back and found his wife and son's bodies at the kennels and then called 911 just after 10. Childhood trauma is a common risk factor for developing depression in adulthood.
However, researchers found that a history of trauma does not make depression harder to treat.
About 50% of people will report
The central bank announced it will raise interest rates 0.25%. That's a fraction of the massive 0.75% raises it has implemented. The Fed pointed to recent data on wage growth and falling prices on consumer goods and energy as reasons for the reduced hike.
However, leaders noted inflation is still elevated. The central bank is warning future rate hikes will likely be necessary to cool inflation further. Now, here's some of the top headlines you can read in the Queer Record this week. An investigation through the DCSO leads to the recovery of nearly $305,000 in stolen county funds. 2 suspects are accused of posing as Texas Rangers and robbing an elderly homeowner in Yorktown. And a group of House Democrats is proposing a $15,000 raise for Texas teachers. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
Not likely to see freezing temperatures, but we could see some fog to go along with this rain. We'll talk more about it in a bit.
Need weather around the clock? When the weather changes in the Crossroads, you need a reliable source. Visit Interactive Radar online for the latest conditions in the Crossroads area. CrossroadsToday.com. Weather at your fingertips.
Victoria All Sports, South Texas's largest family-owned sporting goods store. Having served Victoria and surrounding counties since 1971, we're proud to continue to meet your firearms, hunting, fishing, camping, and outdoor apparel needs. Our friendly and knowledgeable outdoor experts can help you pick the perfect equipment for your next outdoor excursion, and that our in-house gunsmith services are available long after your purchase. Come get geared up at Victoria All Sport, located at 1902 Houston Highway, right here in Victoria.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
If you paid more for your car insurance this year than last year, give us a call at Fred Loya Insurance or visit us at fredloya.com.
My insurance rates went up more than 50%. That's when I call Fred Loya.
My insurance went up over $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. So I called Fred Loya Insurance.
If you think you're paying too much for your car insurance or if your renewal rates have gone up, start paying less and call or visit us online at fredloya.com.
Vegas is it. The biggest stars, the biggest shows. You get it all in Vegas. But what's it really take to be a headliner? Vegas changed me 100%. And what if you're black? Black in Vegas. Wednesday night on ABC.
Stephen A. Smith compared Rihanna to Beyonce. I was even saying with my eyes, Stephen, don't go there. Thursday, Simone Sanders Townsend.
With Home Chef, your home cooking is home nailing it. Our classic all-in-one meal kits are simple enough for anyone and delicious enough for everyone. When it comes to making dinner, fill in the blanks with Home Chef. Delicious, meet simple.
Get 16 free meals when you sign up at homechef.com.
All right, we'll start off in Cuero with clouds, cold weather, and winds. I guess winds not as bad as what they were yesterday, thus keeping our wind chill temperatures not as bad. But you know what? They're still within a couple degrees of what they were yesterday, so maybe they are still bad discernibly. Okay, so 38 degrees. That's what we topped out at today. Our average low is 45. We didn't even pass up the average low with a high temperature. We should be closer to 67. We've been as warm as 90 back on 1927, or in 1927. Now, I talked about it. Not looking to freeze, not likely to have a freeze again with frozen conditions on the ground, but we are looking as the ambient temperatures and dew point temperatures kind of line up. Yeah, we could see some fog moving into the equation, getting visibilities taken down to 4 to 5 miles in some spots. So I'm telling you to drive slow yesterday with the icy and the slick conditions. Hey, drive slow again, please, with the fog. As visibility gets taken down, it can cause all kinds of problems on the roadways. You're seeing most of that wintry precipitation up to the north and northwest of the crossroads. In the crossroads, we're staying green. And that means, yeah, we're staying on the rainy side. Disturbances pushing through, meeting up with some of the undercutting of the cold air and the warm air that was already generating rain. So, yeah, we could see some heavier showers overnight. But good news is, if you don't like the rain should start to move off as early as tomorrow, maybe 9, 10, 11, 12 in the morning or 12 in the afternoon. Okay, temperature-wise, here we are, closer to 40 on the coast, move away from the water. Temperatures in the low to mid-30s. With all the moisture in the air, these temperatures are going to pretty much hold within a couple of degrees, thus keeping us above freezing for our overnight and into the morning. Yesterday this time, gusting away to 25, 30 miles per hour. Winds have started to settle down a little bit now, 5, 10, 12 mile per hour winds. Thus, that's not going to make things as intolerable as I thought they were yesterday with the winds, temperatures getting taken down into the 20s. But still, even with the wind chills and the winds going down, yeah, we're still looking at 20s in some spots. We're a couple degrees warmer with the real feel. But what does that mean? No, still leave that jacket on, the hat, even the scarf or the gloves as well, because, yeah, still very much on the chilly side. All right, our boundaries, what started all this, came down, pulling that cooler, dry air down from the north, undercutting that warm air out of the Gulf, generating these showers. But now we have disturbances pushing in from the southwest. That's helping with our rain and all that, meeting up with all this other moisture. Yeah, we can see some showers overnight and into tomorrow, maybe some heavier showers at times. But I talked about it. High pressure is going to start to move in on Thursday. What does that mean? It's going to help push this activity off to the east, clearing west to east, opening up our skies. Thus, the sunshine now allowing us to warm up even further, maybe around 50 tomorrow. That's a big step up compared to what we've been stuck in the 30s the last couple days. Then eventually the high is going to continue to move off to the east. Then that warm, moist Gulf air is going to push in. That'll start bringing our temperatures back into the 70s. Another look at our rain with our future tracker. So rain for Wednesday, rain for Thursday, but then later on Thursday, maybe in the afternoon, we start to dry off. High pressure, I just showed you, starts clearing things out. We start to see some sunshine and thus warmer temperatures, and then even warming further into the weekend and beyond. So a small craft advisory, once again, seas occasionally at 5 feet. That's going to keep our bays on the rough side. So here we go. Overnight, 36 degrees, 80% chance of showers. Winds in that 15 mile per hour range. That makes things even chillier. And then for tomorrow, okay, a little better. 50 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, 40% chance of rain. But then that activity starts to push off from west to east. Cuero, yeah, nice little rebound into the 60s and 70s, even in the 70s, mid-70s by next week. Then Port Lavaca, okay, the weekend into the 70s, mid-70s by next week. And then here in Victoria, 50 for Thursday. That's a nice step up for tomorrow. Then for Friday, 55. Look at the weekend in the 60s, and then into the 70s as we start off the next work week. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com, and that is free with any Android and iPhone. And now we go to Sports with Gino.
Thanks, Howie. Victoria East senior signed to play football at the next level. We hear from him after the break.
You can enjoy endless entertainment and local news updates for free on our 17 over-the-air channels. Connect your TV antenna to your smart TV in 3 easy steps. Connect the coaxial cable from your antenna to the back of your TV. Select the menu button on your remote and navigate to the correct input of your antenna. Find the channel scan option and click it. Setting up your antenna will keep you entertained and informed with the latest weather updates and emergency information for free. Call or email for questions or more information. Stay connected and stay safe.
Protecting your eyesight is important, but who can you trust for eye care? Luckily, we have an excellent resource of compassionate eye doctors right here in South Texas. At Victoria Eye Center, Dr. Sean Cavusi, Dr. Daniel Bustos, Dr. Peter Lamb, Dr. George Buzalis, as well as our skilled team of optometrists, provide treatment for diabetic eyes, cataracts, glaucoma, dry eye, LASIK, and much more. With 5 locations in South Texas, there's bound to be an office near you. Contact Victoria Eye Center to schedule an eye exam.
Let's go, girls.
I'm ready, Kelly.
Give it up for Shania Twain. I want to talk about the album covers because, girl, first of all,
this is who I am. I'm 57. I've been in menopause for years. I'm like, okay, if I don't learn to love what I'm looking at in the mirror now, I'm going to hate myself tomorrow.
Girl, It's beautiful. At no point in my life will ever look like this.
Navarro Small Animal Clinic provides exceptional veterinary care in the Crossroads with complete veterinary services for your pet's wellness, including ultrasound, digital x-rays, and in-house laboratory. Navarro Small Animal Clinic, serving Victoria and surrounding communities with comprehensive veterinary care. Our goal is to provide complete care for your pets. Dr. Shayna Boak and her staff at Navarro Small Animal Clinic welcomes your pets Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at 5009 Country Club Drive.
Exiting a restaurant left him with a bad taste.
You were holding the door open for your wife.
I decided to squeeze in first.
You were rude.
Maybe so.
And he called you out on it.
Then he returned for seconds.
I get my family to the car. I walk back in the restaurant.
Ah, there we go, Mr. Pogue. Now that's your problem.
I told him he was rude again.
And then he hit me in the mouth with a closed fist.
Next, Judge Judy.
Howdy Crossroads, Victoria East star Jaden Williams has found a new home. This morning, sports reporter Zach Brown saw the dual threat quarterback put the pen to paper and play at Blinn College. Williams said he is thankful for the opportunity to play for a program that is more like a family and wants to help him reach the next level. He is ready to lay it all on the field and build from his time here in Victoria.
I'm just looking forward to show out. I'm looking forward to play ball, it was just how we ended, on a 37-36 loss in a thriller playoff game. It just hurt. So being able to come back and try to feed off of that, feed off that loss, feed off of what it felt like. That's my goal, to just show out and try to get to the next level.
He says it's tough leaving behind a group of guys he's known his whole life, but also says he only about 2 hours away, so he's never too far, and this is the perfect situation for him. And early this morning down in Cowboy Country, 2 Edna Cowboys signed their letter of intent to play football at the next level as well. The 2 signees are running back and defensive end Drayden Ashford and offensive lineman Pablo Almeida. The Edna Stars are going to play Division III football, Ashford to Trinity and Almeida to Sul Ross. At the beginning of the 2022 football season, Ashford said all he wanted to come out of this year was to play football in college. The future Tiger thanked his mom, aunt, grandma, and his coaches for getting him this far.
Came down to a lot of hard work, in the classroom, on the field, everywhere, and it took a lot of people to help me get to this point in my life. So, that's definitely also what came down to my decision to Trinity. It's so close, I don't know how much time I have with my grandma, so, I want to stay next to her and by her, even though I'm far enough away to do my own things and focus on myself.
Ashford won the College Board National African American Academic Award for his scores on the AP exam. His teammate Pablo Almeida signed right next to him and is going to be a Lobo. Currently, Sul Ross is a Division III school, but has recently put in application to move up to D2. The guard is happy with his decision.
They've been in touch with me ever since. Most coaches, they gave me an offer and they just lost contact with me. But Sul Ross, they stayed in contact for a while, always asking me how I was. They made it feel real like homey over there.
Edna made it to the state semifinals this past season. Trinity and Sul Ross are expected to play each other this year. Both Ashford and Alameda said if they do play each other and happen to go against each other on the field, they will not take it easy, and each expects to win the matchup. But either way, it's all love. Well, that's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gino. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, the FDA says a positive COVID-19 test is no longer required for certain antivirals.
Victory Kia and Victory Buick GMC want to let you know that you can lean on us. We will award $500 to a deserving winner. Drop off an entry form at any of our participating dealerships in the Lean On Me drop box with your story and contact info. Go to crossroadstoday.com/leanonme for more information or to enter online. You can tune in every other Thursday at the 6, 9, and 10 p.m. news to view our winners. Lean On Me is sponsored by Victory Kia and Victory Buick GMC.
Every day we help kids navigate the realities of the world.
and make healthy, lifelong choices. Kids learn about alcohol, tobacco, and drugs in lots of ways, often from friends and siblings. While kids may hear lots of harmful information, parents do play a huge role in helping them make the right decision. Talking to your child, sitting down to a family meal at night just to discuss how their day went, or encouraging extracurricular activities can make all the difference.
Stay up to date with what's happening in the Crossroads by downloading the Crossroads Today mobile app. You'll get instant alerts to your phone or tablet the minute breaking news or weather happens. Only the free Crossroads Today mobile app features weather updates for local sports. The Crossroads Today app gives you the ability to stream our daily newscasts when you're on the go and share pictures or tips straight to our newsroom and so much more. Brought to you locally by Prosperity Bank, with 12 locations serving the Crossroads area.
Childhood trauma is a common risk factor for developing depression in adulthood.
However, researchers found that a history of trauma does not make depression harder to treat.
About 50% of people will report experiencing childhood trauma, many of whom will develop depression at some point in their life. Depression is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. It's been a long-standing theory that depression is harder to treat when you have a history of trauma. Research from Vraha University in Amsterdam shows that may not be true. Contrary to current ideology, research showed that treatment of depression worked equally well in both people with a trauma history and those without. Common treatment options include therapy, prescription medications, or a combination of both. People with a history of trauma had a higher baseline level of depression, however, they had similar levels of symptom improvement with treatment. Findings were consistent when looking at different childhood trauma type. Regardless of having a history of trauma, depression is a medical condition that can be adequately treated. If you or someone you know is struggling with depressive symptoms, seek care as soon as possible from a healthcare provider. A primary care doctor is a great place to start. With this Medical Minute, I'm Ike Ajachi.
A positive COVID-19 test is not needed anymore for prescribed antiviral drugs. The FDA removed the requirement for Paxlovid and Lagevrio. Both drugs are approved to treat COVID-19 under emergency use authorizations. Now, healthcare providers can write prescriptions based on symptom presentation and risk of developing severe COVID-19. This is important because the drugs work best when given early. Few drivers and residents braved the icy conditions today in Dallas. Those that did were part of scenes like these, from a jackknifed 18-wheeler to a pickup truck stuck on an icy, hilly road. Still, residents made their way to stores for supplies as ice covered parking lots on the south side of the city in Duncanville.
It was very slippery, and put it in low gear and only idled my accelerator, because if you goose it, it kind of turns sideways, you know.
An ice storm warning remains in effect for Dallas until 9 a.m. Thursday. And Don, you were showing me just earlier that it might snow this morning at 5 a.m.
Well, maybe what we were looking on the phone was maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Around there.
It's that icon for the snowflake. And so what are the chances now in the Crossroads we could have some winter precip overnight?
Yesterday they were very good. We had some, but today I'm never going to say 0 or 100, but I'd say 10% chance we see that. More than likely, with all the moisture in the area, we're going to hold temperatures above freezing, but with dew points and ambient temperatures lined up, yeah, we could start to see some fog. So you want to be careful with the fog now if you're slowing down for the ice. 36 overnight, 80% chance of some showers. Tomorrow, up to 50. Later in the week, we do start to warm back up. You know what? I'm not done yet. Here we go. So Saturday, 63. Sunday, 68. But look at that. We do warm up after the weekend, but then another cold front comes down and knocks us back down. Look at that. But on Wednesday, 67. Maybe looking at some showers as well. Karina, Don?
Thanks, Howie. A dog in Florida has fire crews and a child to thank for his safety. The child notified authorities after seeing the animal stuck in some mucky pond at a park. Fire crews came out and were able to lasso the dog and carry him to a boardwalk where animal control was waiting. Authorities say the dog doesn't have a microchip. If his owner doesn't show up, they plan to name him Jill after his rescuer and then put him up for adoption.
You bring up microchip. As of today in Houston, every pet owner who owns a dog or a cat has to have it microchipped.
Makes sense.
Yes,
Safety first.
indeed.
Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on Crossroads Today Plus.
Join Carolina Astrain and meteorologist Trey Mining for 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.